Coming up tonight on YCN News, work is underway to identify the young men and women who participated in the riot during Keene's Pumpkin Festival. Claremont, New Hampshire and the state of Vermont prepare for 2 emergency response drills. And YCN hosts a debate between the 2 candidates running for New Hampshire State Senate District 8 seat. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening and welcome to this Tuesday edition of YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. No one likes to have their dirty laundry aired, their worst moments made public, yet the spotlight regionally remains on the young people's Saturday and night rioting on streets just beyond the Keene State College campus. While the unrest and mayhem did not happen on Keene's bustling Main Street, the focus of the 24th Annual Pumpkin Festival, the riots happened on the same day. Festival organizers do not want the festival to become meshed in people's memories with scenes from the riot. Scenes of police officers at 8 p.m. at night wearing face shields, the lingering scent of pepper spray from the afternoon, about 2 cars overturned, a couch set on fire burning in the middle of an off-campus street. Keene State College President Ann Hewitt says work is underway to identify the young men and women who participated in the melee. It remains unknown how many people rioting near Winchester Court were Keene State students or other college students. And officials plan to learn if some young people on Saturday have no ties to the school or any school. We have identified several individuals at this point, writes Hewitt on the college's website. We continue to work with Keene Police to gather additional information and are coordinating with other colleges and universities to ID students who visited Keene on Saturday. We are expediting the conduct hearing process at Keene State to impose consequences as efficiently as possible. I am proud of the positive contributions that many of our students, faculty, and staff offered to the community over the weekend, Hewitt says. It is too early to tell, Pumpkin Festival organizers say, what the riot away from the downtown and well-regarded Pumpkin Festival will do to the spirit or future of the festival. Pumpkin Festival organizer Ruth Sterling writes on the festival's website that Saturday gave event planners many lessons. Sorting them out and learning will take time. It remains to be seen how many people will be charged for unlawful acts by police and what those consequences will be. About 85 arrests were made by police and more arrests could be forthcoming once identifications are made. YCN News will continue to update this story. Meanwhile, we bring you advance notice of 2 events scheduled for tomorrow that could be unsettling. Keep in mind that it's only a drill. 2 emergency response drills are scheduled for tomorrow in Claremont and Vermont. There will be an active shooter drill to be held in Claremont at Valley Regional Hospital early tomorrow afternoon. Claremont residents and visitors should not be alarmed when several police cars, fire trucks, and ambulances rush to Valley Regional Hospital on Elm Street. The drill will simulate a person with a gun entering one of Valley Regional's clinical areas. Several actors will portray shooting victims, fully made up with fake blood with a variety of injuries. Claremont police officers will locate and attempt to subdue the shooter, and victims will be transported to Valley Regional's emergency department for treatment. Hospital president and CEO Peter Wright says the drill helps all first responders and medical staff to prepare for a disaster. And in Vermont, there will be a full-scale test of the Amber Alert system. The drill is set for Wednesday afternoon, state police report. The test will be used to assess and evaluate changes in technology used to alert Vermonters when the Amber Alert system is activated. The test will include a mass emailing to a variety of organizations, activation of the Vermont Lottery Notification System. When a person buys a lottery ticket in Vermont, the ticket will include information on the missing person or persons. Flashing light road signs or message boards will be posted along the highways. Vermont broadcasters will participate by announcing messages supplied by the police as the Amber Alert is activated. The emergency broadcast system may be activated as well. Turning to political news, YCN News hosted a debate yesterday night between the two candidates for New Hampshire State Senate District 8 seat. There were some heated exchanges between Democrat Linda Tanner and Republican Jerry Little at times, in particular regarding the state's minimum wage or lack thereof. New Hampshire did away with its minimum wage in an earlier legislative session. It relies on the federal minimum of $7.25 per hour. Let's listen to the two candidates.
The $10 minimum wage that's been proposed, according to the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, will cost the United States of America 500,000 jobs. It's well known that the minimum wage isn't intended to be a living wage. It's intended to be a starting wage. And it's also well known that that majority of people who make the minimum wage, the woman in her 30s, is working in the service industry, and that more often than not they are receiving tips that then increase their wage well beyond the minimum wage.
And I'll ask the audience to hold their questions and comments till, or in remarks and anything until the period so we can hear the candidates.
The Federal Reserve System has done a study of studies of minimum wage, and 85% of them conclude that the net effect of increasing the minimum wage is to decrease the number of jobs that are available in any economy. So while it does make a very catchy progressive soundbite, it makes very bad public policy and it makes worse economic policy.
I think, first of all, it's one of my priorities as senator is to work on this minimum wage. It came through my committee, my labor committee that I was working on at the State House. Under the 2010-2012 leadership, the Republican leadership, they actually voted away a minimum wage in New Hampshire, getting rid of our local control and defaulting to the federal minimum wage of $7.25. If Jerry were working at minimum wage, inflation adjusted now from what he was when he first started working, it would now be about $10 an hour. And that's probably a decent minimum wage. However, you can't make that jump. And so my offer is, let's get a minimum wage back. Let's raise it to $8.25 an hour. Let's give people that are struggling at that, you'll hear that it's teenagers or it's people starting in business. It really isn't. The average person on a minimum wage is a woman, probably right around 30, either household dependent for her income or she's a single mother. And to make that amount of money, $7.25 an hour, full-time, you know, she's making well below the poverty level. And poverty is a big issue. So I think by raising it $1, we'll put more money back into the local economy. Those people don't put it in banks, don't send it to the Cayman Islands. They use that money for food and clothing to help their family. So I think it's a major issue, and that's what I'm really pushing.
When we return, we will learn from the candidates where they stand on other hot-button issues as raised by the panelists and audience.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. WNTK Talk Radio reporter Gail Hedrington and YCN News Director Lisa Connell asked questions of Little and Tanner. Topics discussed ran the gamut from women's health care issues, same-sex marriage, and again on the minimum wage.
Choice. The Republican platform has personhood amendments which limit women's right to choose. Where do you stand on that?
I disagree with the platform there also. I am pro-choice.
Both candidates agree on the right for same-sex couples to marry. And as so often happens in New Hampshire politics, at the local and statewide level, the pledge word was mentioned. Little began to speak about boosting the state's business climate, an issue an audience member took issue with later.
Can you elaborate what's on the pledge?
This is it. The pledge says cut taxes, and fees and oppose any tax increases, cut spending and size of government, pass right-to-work law, oppose Obamacare, uphold both the New Hampshire and the United States constitutions. That is the pledge. I don't have to reconcile with this pledge at all. If it were on that pledge, I will disagree with it. I support gay. I signed this pledge. It's not on there. You're welcome to come up and take this copy if you'd like to see it. So it's not there. So I mean, that's a huge red herring. And I've said before, and I will say again, I support gay marriage. I will not vote to repeal it. So I will not reconcile with it if it is in fact on some other version of the pledge that I haven't seen and that I have not signed. I don't have to reconcile to it because I am a supporter of that. To me, it's a constitutional issue. This is about life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And that doesn't say anything about sexual orientation or preferences. That's immaterial to me. The Constitution says we get to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. And so I support gay marriage. I've said it before here tonight. And the pledge I signed does not say anything about that, period.
Tanner does not sign any pledges, she said. Indeed, the economy was one issue last night. Please tune in at 8 and 11 p.m. tonight to watch the debate in its entirety. WYCU TV 26 will televise the debate Tuesday, October 21st at 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. and on Thursday, October 23rd at 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. WYCU is carried on Comcast channels 20 and HD 712 and on TDS cable channel 13. In Upper Valley news, a note to our viewers in Hanover. The Hanover Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing to consider and adopt the E911 street numbering map system. The hearing begins at 7:30 p.m. on Monday, November 3rd, in the boardroom of the Municipal Building at 41 South Main Street. When YCN News returns, we'll hear from Kearsarge Chronicles' Sean Bowman, who met with a veterinarian, Dr. Diane Sleesman, to talk about tick season.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Now Matt McDonald will have a look at our weather for the next few days and then move on to sports.
Thanks, Rose. Tonight we have a 60% chance of rain, mostly after 11 p.m. Skies will be cloudy with calm winds and lows in the mid-40s. Tomorrow morning will be foggy until around 9 a.m. Skies will be cloudy with a 70% chance of showers and a high of 52 degrees. Tomorrow night, the rain will continue with winds between 5 and 10 miles per hour and lows in the 40s. Thursday will have a high of 53 degrees with a 70% chance of precipitation and winds up to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night will be cloudy with a low of 45 degrees. Rain will continue with a 60% chance of showers. And now let's take a look at our fall foliage report. We will continue to bring you foliage updates in New Hampshire and Vermont counties. Now let's see what's coming up on our community calendar. Tomorrow in New Hampshire, the Grantham and Wilmot Select Board meetings will be held at 5 p.m. In Danbury, the Select Board will meet at 6 p.m. Then at 6:30 p.m., the Norwich, Vermont Select Board will meet. Remember, you can submit local events from your community by sending them to news@ycnnow.com. Let's turn to local high school sports. There were two important back-to-back Sunapee High School games, both with opponent Epping. In boys soccer, the Lakers and Blue Devils both played a good game, but the Lakers were a dominant team, defeating them 3-1. The Lakers' record improves to 10 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. Sunapee is set to end its regular season on Thursday. In girls soccer, the game was even closer. Sunapee edged past Epping in a 1-0 win. This victory carries the Lakers to 11 wins. They also have 3 losses and 1 tie game on their record. On Thursday, the Lady Lakers will face Wilton Lindborough.
Thanks, Matt. When YCN News continues, we'll join Capital Connections' John O'Connor.
The YCN News continues in a moment.